What's up? What's up? Hey, discipline is the key. Discipline is the key. But before I even get to that, I had a good workout today. You gotta get out there and work out there, and that's part of discipline anyway. In my podcast today, I talked about sexual discipline, but discipline is what really separates a man from a boy, a man from a female, and a man from a male is discipline, you know? And the discipline is hard work. Like, check out this shirt I got. Check out this shirt. Blood, Sweat, and Respect. It's the part of the Rock collection from Armor All. Because the Rock be working. The Rock be working. I'm going to be coming out with some shirts at some point. But I'm going to keep that down. Make sure I got them, legally copywritten. Because how y'all be stealing shit. But discipline, man, I'm going to tell you what. One of the problems in society, really, with men, many men are just males. They never really learn how to be a man. Like in civilized cultures, which I call indigenous cultures, they didn't have the technology of the machine culture. And if y'all want to know what I really mean by machine culture, check out my Deep Thought video that's coming out tomorrow. But you don't have the technology and they live simply, but their ways of developing human beings was far superior because they would have formal rites of passage, particularly in continental African cultures, which they still do, really. The ones that still practice some stuff in maybe South Pacific cultures and definitely in Native American cultures. And the rites of passage was basically, they were taught how to be a man. They were taught how to hunt. Actually, how to make love too. How to embody the house of the man. And the house of the man is the man, that's the warrior, the eagle, the hunter, and the healer. So man was actually taught that. It wasn't left to chance. One thing about the machine culture, it leaves stuff to chance and then wonder why there's a problem. And even the more informal ways of teaching a man to be a man, like maybe joining the service, increasingly they don't need soldiers like they used to. Just get a drone and bomb. Or you don't have maybe military schools, or even one thing that was a rites of passage was making the ball team. Now you got participation trophies. Yeah, but those things taught discipline. Like take sports. A metaphysician I interviewed one time for this internet radio show I had said sports were an important way of getting a man to, turning a boy into a man. Because I remember in high school, I actually played soccer. And I remember a little nuance, which at the time didn't make sense to me, but it makes all the sense in the world to me now. Like, we couldn't play unless our shoes were shined. No joke. We could have been the star player, but if our shoes weren't shined, the coach would bench us. So, part of our pregame before we even went to the games was getting out that shoe polish and shining our shoes. But what that was discipline. What that was is discipline. Like little things is discipline. Having, a boy make up his bed or something before he goes, before he leaves the house or anything. All of that is discipline. That's the power. Because the discipline, I talked about sexual discipline in the podcast today, but discipline helps in every area of life. Like when I was little, now I've said I grew, spent the early part of my life in some poor neighborhoods in D.C., particularly Anacostia. But my grandmother, she was more from an upper class background. And yeah, she married the numbers runner, but yeah, it is what it is. But she still had that upper middle class mindset. So when I was little, she used to make me take piano lessons. Now, somebody would say, why? Because she made me. I didn't want to. And now don't ask me to play the piano because I never got into it. But it was a discipline that, I had to practice. I had to show up. So, and it was like little things that she would actually have me do. She would actually have me do to have discipline. Like I say this on a BGS for Women's hangout. Like it was mostly females, but it was like a lion's pride, so the men weren't coddled. So we still had to have discipline in what we did. We still had to be able to fight. Like the general rule in the family was, you don't have to start shit, but don't, hey, you end it, or make sure you stand up and let them know they've been in a fight. But that's a discipline too. Like anything is discipline, but understand what that means for a man. Because the very nature of man is to take action, to do something, to be doing something, to have a job. So every man, and I've said this before, every man needs to have a body of knowledge. But even acquiring knowledge, whether it's knowledge of the martial arts, it's knowledge of how to be better on YouTube videos, it's knowledge of how to lift weights properly, or shoot, it could be knowledge how to run, it could be whatever, anything, shoot, knowledge of how to like make love to a woman better, whatever it is. You have to practice it, and you have to have discipline in practicing it, because it's your craft. And that's actually a holistic thing that forges a man, because the thing, see, ultimately, it's not so much as the discipline that makes a man, but willpower, the will. And the will is the ability to enforce your dictates, your conscious, rational choices over your animal self. Like if you deal with a martial artist, you notice like the more higher they are up, the more willpower they have, because they real calm. Anybody deal with any martial artists know they's real calm. People talk shit, they just kind of laugh at them because they know they could kill them. But that takes willpower, and not to react like in a normal emotional way and just like crush them. That's willpower. That's why if a true warrior, not a soldier, a warrior has discipline, he has willpower, he imposes his will on himself. That's the main thing. Like when that was one of the things in the rites of passages in the more civilized cultures. It was about imposing their will on their animal self, imposing their on their fears, facing their fears. Like you got a lot of guys now, their biggest problem is their fear has affected their amygdala. And because it's affected their amygdala, you know, they might look at a woman and think, oh, wow, you know, she's going to reject me, she's going to do this and that, and you actually feel a fear. But part of your will, part of discipline is to say, no, I'm going to face that, and I'm going to make myself do this. Like in the gym today, yeah, really for the first time in decades, since like I was in my 20s, went up to about 250 lifting, like bench press. And that was without a spot. With a spot, I could have probably got about 275, maybe 285 with a spot, but I didn't want to chance it. But, and somebody would say, why are you doing that? And it's not for the women, and it's not even for aesthetics or even health. I can ride the bike for health. I don't have to lift really for health, or lift is heavy, just as long as I lift enough. But it's the discipline. It's to say, it's to impose my will over my body. And say, okay, well, it's not a 24-year-old body anymore, it's a 54-year-old body, but impose the will over it to push some weights. But it's a powerful thing, because the thing with discipline, once you have discipline, once a man has discipline, he can do anything. Because when you impose your will over your emotions and your animal self, that becomes like the horse. That's the horse that you just tamed. You just tamed that horse. It's all wild, it's bucking and all of that, but you just said, I'm taming you. I'm putting my will on you. You're bringing that horse under the control. Then once you get on that horse, you can do anything. That's the ultimate meaning of the so-called Sphinx in Kemet, or what Europeans call Egypt. Having your higher self imposed over your lower self. But then once you do that, it's like a flamethrower. You got the power to do or go any place, the energy to go any place, and then you can just boom, you can make it happen. That's the key to power. That's the key to power. That's what it makes you damn near superhuman. Discipline is like a powerful thing. And you know, when I talked about sexual discipline, think about it. Now, I've been reading a book that I got out on the recommendation of the master teacher BGS, The Alchemy of Love and Loss. I think her name is Teresa Crenshaw. And, she was talking about how that testosterone works. I mean, y'all know it. Fellas, y'all know, y'all get that urge, shoot, you ready to head to the bathroom, wherever. Shoot, you try to take care of it right then. But think about it. If you can control that urge and take that energy instead of going to whack it off or going after some woman or something who may or may not like you, just say, hold up, let me I'm gonna put this energy into a business plan. Oh, I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna start running. I'm gonna train my body. I'm gonna practice this martial arts kata. Or you could say, okay, I'm gonna do this business now. Like, I'll use that sex transmutation thing for writing. Like, writing is still my main thing. And just maintain that discipline. Just put the creativity there or put it into something else. But it's the discipline that allows you to do that. Because discipline is a matter of will. And it's like, I will do something. I will do this. Boom. And I probably need to do something deeper on the will, because people think being stubborn is strong will. No, it's just being stubborn. Will is just making a choice at the crossroads that's in your best interest. Most people don't. Most people let their animal self make the decision for them. That's why they get in trouble. That's why we got so many people have trouble losing weight or smoking cigarettes when it says on the package this could kill you. That's a willpower problem. But anybody who can develop their will, ain't nothing. You get a critical mass of people. You get a critical mass of men with their will fully developed. You can change society. Yeah, it's that deep, y'all. It's that deep. So anyway, that's all I got for now. I'll go back to acting silly on the road tomorrow. Okay. Talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.